Hello everyone, this is Anand Yurade. I have qualified 8-time CSIR UGC NET JRF along with ICR, ASRB NET, Maharashtra SET and GATE. I was conducting NET SET classes in Amravati. More than 70 to 80 students get qualified through my class on the record of the record. So currently I am working as an assistant professor in the Department of Botany at Vinayak Vignan Mahavidyalaya Nandgaon Khandeshwar district Amravati, Maharashtra. Today we are going to see the topic. We are going to focus on the topic that is how to crack the NET examination, tricks to crack CSIR UGC NET examination in life sciences. So dear student, number of students face the problem that examination is very difficult, the syllabus is very huge, it is not possible to crack the examination within the short duration, but it is somewhat wrong, because if we have the correct pathway for the preparation of NET examination, if we go through some tricks, or if we plan for the NET examination correctly, so you will have ultimately the NET examination within a short duration of time. So today in this lecture we are going to cover these all topics. How can we crack the NET examination within a short duration? So I am going to share my personal experience. I am going to share the experience of the students which are passed through my classes. So be with me up to the end of this video. Before starting the topic, we have to clear some short topics, that is what is NET, who can appear for the NET examination, that is eligible criteria for the NET examination, and what kind of the agencies for the NET examination conduction. So starting first with the NET examination, what is meant by NET? So it's a NET, that is national eligibility test for lecturership or the junior research fellowship. Once you have cracked the NET examination, so you will have the lecturership in India, and if you have some more percent that they cut off, so ultimately you will have the JRF along with the LS. So this examination can be conducted only in the India. It is for the lecturership and the junior research fellowship. So who can appear for this examination? So students which are appear in the master degree, or which are past the master degree, or you can say the equivalent degree for the MSc, so the student can be appear for this examination. So the big challenge is that who is going to conduct that examinations. So UGC is the whole and soul for this all. So you can say there are three faculties, that is arts, commerce and the sciences. So the UGC conduct all the examination of these three faculties. It also conducts the NET examination of these faculties. So the NET examination for the art and commerce is directly conducted by the UGC. That's why we can say that the examinations are NET UGC NET examination. But the NET examination for the sciences conducted by the UGC but through the CSIR. That's why whenever there is a written the NET examination of the science, that will be the UGC joint CSIR NET examination. So if they written that is NET examination UGC NET, so the UGC NET is for the commerce and art, but UGC joint CSIR NET, it is for the sciences. So how many sciences are there? The CSIR conduct the examination of the sciences. So there are 5 kind of the different sciences, that is chemical science, another one that is earth science, and the third one that is life science, fourth one that is mathematical science, and the fifth one that is physical science. So this is the sequence, and you can use the subject code. For example, 01 is the subject code for chemical science, 02 for earth science, 03 subject code for life science, 04 subject code for mathematical science, and the 05 subject code is for the physical science. So see, these NET examinations conducted twice in a year, first in June month and another in the month of December. So the examination is conducted by the NTA, that is National Teaching Agency. Nowadays that examinations are online examinations. Now take a overlook what is LS and JRF. So LS, it means lecturership. Once you crack the examination, you will have the LS, that is lecturership. You can do the lecturership in India. So there is no age limitation for the lecturership. There is no limitation of number of attempt you can take to crack the examination. And LS, it is only for the lecturership. So what is meant by JRF then? JRF means it's a junior research fellowship. Once you crack the examination, so government or you can say UGC or CSIR will provide us some money in the form of JRF. So for the research. So you can have the two kinds of the JRF, UGC JRF and the CSIR JRF. It is totally depend upon the number of student and the criteria of UGC and CSIR, but the amount of JRF remain same. So it is for the research. You can do the research in the CSIR institute, or you can say you can do the research in your domestic institutes also. So there is a age limitation for the JRF. The upper age limit for the JRF is 28 years for all candidates. There is relaxation up to the 5 year for the SC, ST and physically or visually handicapped persons, and also the relaxation for the female for 3 years, which belongs in the OBC category along with non-criminal certificates. Now turning to the question paper pattern of CSIR examination. So from June 2011, CSIR has introduced only one question paper along with all the MCQ questions, that is multiple choice questions. The paper is divided into three parts, that is part A, part B and part C. So keep in mind that there is a negative marking of 0.23%. So now take a overlook of question paper pattern. So there are three kinds of the parts in the paper. Part A, which is of general aptitude, there is no concern of life science. It will have 20 total questions. You have to attempt maximum 15 questions. Keep in mind that you don't have to select or solve serially 15 questions. You can take any random 15 question from 20 questions, but the maximum limit is 15 questions. You can't solve more than 50 questions. If you solve once, so the 16 question will not be considered. So each question from the part A is of 2 marks. So maximum question you can attempt 15 and 2 marks. The 15 into 2 is equal to 30 marks. So overall 30 marks you can get from single part A, which is of general aptitude. So coming to the part B and part C, the part B is of life science, part C is of also the life science. Part B contains total question 15. You have to attempt maximum 35 question of it. Again the procedure is same. You don't have to attempt serially 35 question. You can take random 35 question out of 50 question, but there is a limit of 35 question. You can exceed the 35 question. The question from the part B is also of 2 marks. That's why 35 into 2 marks, it will come around 70 marks. It means the part B it is of 70 marks. Then turning to the part C, that is very very important, and it's a milestone part because maximum student can get maximum score in the C part, and it will have the result with good marks. So part C is of also life science. It contains total 75 question. You have to attempt maximum 25 question only. It means out of 75 questions you have to solve only 25 random question, not serially. You can pick up any 25 question, and there is chance you can leave 50 questions. That means that part is very important part. You can get more and more marks from this part. But another important thing from this part is also that one question from the C part will have 4 marks. That's why 25 question into 4 marks, it will come around 100 marks. So the part A have 30 marks, part B have 70 marks, and part C have 100 marks. So all the three part contains near about total marks that we can say 200 marks. And if we consider part C, so ultimately it covers 100 marks, that is 50% part of the total paper. So that's why part C is very very important for us. So now coming to the part that is syllabus. Take a overlook of the syllabus, because while preparing the NET examination, it is very important to look up the syllabus first. So download the syllabus from the internet, and study it very well before start to study the question papers and etc. Or before start the study, you have to once visit the site and download the syllabus. So syllabus contains 13 units. The first unit is molecules and their interaction relevant to the biology. So simply we can say that that is biochemistry. Another unit is cellular organization, that we can say the cell biology. The third unit, that is fundamental processes, that we can say the molecular biology. Another one, that is fourth number, cells communication and the cell signaling. Number 5, that is developmental biology. Number 6, these are very important unit. Number 6, that is plant physiology, and number 7, that is animal physiology. Plant physiology and animal physiology, the two units are very important because straightforward question asked from this unit. Number 8 unit is, that is inheritance biology, that we can say simply the genetics. Number 9, that is diversity of life form. Number 10, ecological principles, you can say the ecology. Number 11, that is evolution and behavior, you can say the evolution. And number 12 is, that is applied biology, and the last one is very important, that is the methods in biology. So it is the overlook of syllabus. So the special video is made by me on the same topic, that is the syllabus. You can visit my website, you can visit the YouTube channel, and there is one video detail on the syllabus. Now coming to the actual criteria of the today's session, that is the tricks to crack the CSIR NET examination in the life sciences. So dear student, that is very important. So just I am going to tell some my personal experiences that I plot for my preparation. Okay, so the first is, that is conceptual reading. That is very important part. So download and read the syllabus first, and try to read it sequentially from unit to unit, first unit to last unit. Don't take a random unit from this, just go from first unit to last unit. Then and then you can understand easily how much the that is first to last unit is concerned with each other. If you go randomly, so ultimately you will found in trouble, and it increase your confusion about this. So if you select the unit number 1 first, then take a small topic from this. For example, if you start the biochemistry, and don't go through the detailed biochemistry, don't go through the all syllabus, take a simple topic first and start to read it, and prepare it and read it until the full understanding. If the topic is not get clear in the first attempt, so read it again, and again up to the full understanding. That is very important. Don't leave the topic without understanding. You don't have to read only the topic, you have to understand the topic until it full the understanding or the concept will be clear for you. Now the question arises, from where to read the topic? The answer is very simple. You can take help of reference book or the well-known books for the CSR, for the NET preparation of the life sciences. That books are available in the soft copies on the internet. You can download it and you can easily read it. A major problem while reading is that where to stop the reading. If you are reading the topic, just I told about take a small topic and go through the topic, read the topic up to the understanding. Read the necessary part, because it is very important where to stop reading. Otherwise what will happen, the unnecessary part you will read, and that will not be helpful in the NET examination. So look, we are preparing very small topic there. There is need to read the book onward. Just read the topic that is chosen topic, and close the book. That is very simple technique. Some topics from the book we can understand very much by reading only. So you can take a help of animation on the YouTube or any medium available for you. Definitely the animations are very useful or helpful to understand the concept. One thing you have to keep in mind, that don't read the next topic until you complete the previous one. Make a short notes while reading. That is very important. While reading, take a copy with you and make a short notes. For example, if you are reading a paragraph, take a 2 or 3 lines outside in the notebook to understand better, or that will help you when you will revise the topic at the time of examination. Otherwise it is not possible to read the full book before 1 or 2 weeks before the examination. So keep in mind that you have to pick up a short notes while reading. Read it very carefully and make a short note. Don't read the book whole, that is not necessary. Read only the topic from the syllabus, otherwise it will waste your time. So second trick, that is very important trick, it's a recalling. Okay, we have read the book, the topic which is belongs to our syllabus. We have taken a unit sequentially. We have taken a simple topic from the unit, and we read it, we understand it, and we make a short notes of this. Okay, so next procedure is very important. You have to recall it very fastly. See, the reading is not only important because once you read and leave the topic, so ultimately there may chance to forget this topic. That's why it is very necessary to recall the topic time to time, and up to what? Up to the concept fixed in your mind. Choose the correct timing for recalling. It is very important. It's my experience. If you recall the topic early in the morning, where the environment remain very peaceful with very low disturbances, it will help to study very better. So while recording, take a book of short notes which you have prepared while reading. Read the short notes once and close the book and start to recall. If not recalling, so again open the book, read it, and close it, again start to recall it. You have to do the same process up to fluently recall the topic. Now question is arise in your mind that what to recall. The answer is very simple. Recall the topic which we have prepared or read before. Read the topic today and recall it tomorrow in the morning. It will help you to understand the topic better. It will help you to recall the topic better. You have to do the process daily for daily reading. Now turning toward the third trick, that is a revision. That is very important. Reading and recalling is not only important for this. You have to revise it very fluently. So you have to do this topic in the particular manner, the revision in the particular manner. So the topic you have prepared or the concept you have prepared has to recall sequentially on the given time. You have to read and revise after third to fourth day. That means once you read the topic, then you have to revise it after 3 or 4 days. You have to give the revision after 3 to 4 days. Again you have to do the second revision after 7 days. You have to read the topic again after 7 days. It's a second revision. Then you can give the third revision after 15 days. The same topic you have to read after 15 days. That is your third revision. And then you have to read the topic again after 1 month. That's your fourth revision. So keep in mind that scientists have proven that if you read any kind of the topic 4 times, that will be ultimately permanently fixed in your mind. So it is given by the scientist. So moving to the trick number 4, that is discussion. But for the discussion we need friends, if it is possible, so do it. So if you have the friend, those who are preparing for the same examination, discuss the topic with them which you read before. Definitely you will found some questions while doing so. It will help you that the topic you read is understand to you or not. That is very important, discussion. But if that is possible, so do it. Otherwise you can skip that trick. So now turning to trick number 5, that is the practice, and it is very important. Don't choose the random question for the practice. You may found in trouble or you may increase the confusion. So you think you have to do that. Try to solve the question from the topic which you have read or recall for on the same day. It means you have to read and recall. For example, if you read or recall the plasma membrane in the morning, then solve the question of plasma membrane in the evening. So it will very easy. Just you have read the topic and you are going to solve the question on it. So ultimately the question will be correct, and definitely you will it will improve your comfortness. So you will be in the comfort zone. So now the last trick, that is the question paper solving, and that is very important. So listen carefully what I am going to tell you. That I personally suggest you that solve the part C first, while solving the paper in the NET examination, start with the part C first, then solve the part B, then solve the part A. You have to go reverse in manner. So listen carefully. If you start to solve the part C, don't directly read and submit the question, because there are 75 questions, and if you are going to read all these questions, so it may take more than 3 hours. That is the whole time for the question, or whole time for the question paper. So to avoid this, the simple and very effective trick for the question selection is that just scan and overlook the questions. So don't read the question, just scan and overlook the question. Select only those questions whose topic you know perfectly. Then do the mark on the question and leave the questions which are unknown to you or not read before perfectly. The random selected question will be up to 30 to 35 questions. So you will select nearly 30 to 35 questions. Otherwise all questions you have to leave because they are unknown to you. This process may take nearly 8 to 10 minutes for the question selection. That is very important. Scan the paper, select the question, those questions which are very perfect to you. Otherwise leave the question that is unknown to you or not perfectly read by you. Is it? So now start to solve the selected question one by one, but strictly remind that you have to solve only the 25 questions randomly. Okay? Don't go more than the 25 questions, because more than 25 questions the question will be checked. So now read all the options of the question carefully. Apply your knowledge, pick up and submit the answer. But it is not same for the part B and part A. Scanning is not necessary for the part A and part B. In this part, just read the question, pick up the answer and submit the question. So try to solve nearly 25 to 28 questions in the part B, and try to solve minimum 5 questions in part A. But keep in mind that in part C you have to solve more than 20 to 22 questions. You may directly solve out of 25 questions in the part C, because part C is very important. Basically the result of the student is totally depend upon the part C. Okay, but keep in mind that some time criteria should be there. Give 1.5 hour to 2 hours for the part C, not more than 2 hours. 30 minutes for the part B. So 30 minutes or 1 hour you can give the part B, and give 30 minutes nearly for the part A, because part C is lengthy and it is very important for scoring the mark in the examination. That is why maximum time you have to give to the part C. So up to 1.5 hour to 2 hours you have to spend in the part C. For again I am telling you, for part B you have to spend the time for 30 minutes to 1 hour, depend on the reading and pick up the answer. And minimum give 30 minutes for the part A, because part A is also very important, because part A gives you JRF. For example, if you are picking a 5 question from the part A, so ultimately it will give the 10 marks, and 10 marks will cover 5% in the examination. So if you are below the cutoff, so 5% will give you LS, and if you are on the LS, so the 5% from the A part, it will give you a JRF. So these are some tricks regarding to the NET examination of CSIR in life sciences. So it was, you can say, the short introduction about this. So if you have some confusion about this, or if you need more information or detailed videos on this, so you can visit our YouTube channel also. So my humble request is that don't fear about it. Don't afraid of this examination. That is very easy examination. Keep motivate yourself, because nobody will come to help you while studying or while solving the paper. So if you have some query regarding to this, I have given my mobile number and email address also there. So it is very crucial time for us. That is we are suffering from the world is suffering from very big disease, that is COVID-19. So it is my humble request to stay home, stay safe. Thank you very much.